being called the largest ground raid into northern Gaza.
The largest ground raid. When I mean the largest, ever since this war started, this is the largest. I don't want to talk too much. I want you to watch the video to the end, because I promise you I'll be bringing you updates. So make sure you touch the like button and share it. If there is anything you want to say about it, please drop it on the comment section.
Northern Gaza since the war began, and moments ago, the IDF confirmed it eliminated 5 Hezbollah cells that tried to launch rockets at Israel. Officials also confirming there are at least 224 hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza, but that number could rise. The brief incursion comes hours after the Wall Street Journal reported that Israel agreed to delay a full ground invasion until the Pentagon can deploy air defense systems to protect American troops in the region. Those systems are expected to be in place later this week.
Let's bring in former Assistant Secretary of State for George W. Bush, Robert Charles. Robert, great to have you here. What's your takeaway from this breaking news overnight? Was this a way to soften targets in anticipation of a ground invasion? Was this a trial run for a ground invasion, or some combination of both?
You know, the way a war should be fought, Todd, in every situation is surprise is an advantage. And so I'm not even going to make a guess. I'm just going to say that Israel is doing what Israel has to do. My hope is that they can avoid as much collateral damage as possible in Gaza and anywhere else that it ends up spreading, and also that escalation can be kept in mind. We don't want this to escalate. This is essentially a proxy war with Iran. And I think everybody who knows anything about the region, and I've been in almost all the countries of the region over the years, knows that this is a proxy war with Iran, where Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Fatah, and others are really doing Iran's bidding and are underwritten by Iran. So my hope is that this just gets done quickly without collateral damage as much as possible, and ultimately doesn't escalate.
A lot of smoke right now in the live visuals that we are showing from Gaza. Got to get your thoughts on this, sir. You live 30 minutes from where this shooting happened, series of shootings in Lewiston, Maine. How did you learn what happened, and what did you do in response?
Actually, a friend called me. I otherwise wouldn't have known anything about it. Although I pass that place where those things occurred probably twice or 3 times a week. And, you know, I think people just have to keep in mind that on the one hand, it sounds like another event in a place which is just another place. But the odd thing about this is that these people, we people around here, yes, a shock and grief, and I can't even begin to think about the heartache. But it's also the fact that people around here trust each other, Todd. We do good for each other all the time. This is a small place. The entire state only has about 1 million people. So we're a very small wooded place. I'm probably 20 minutes from where it happened. So what did I do? I think there's about 100, I'm in Androscoggin County. There are about 100,000 members of Maine who are in Androscoggin, citizens of Maine in Androscoggin County, and I did what most of them probably did. I racked up my 9mm and I put it beside me, and if anything comes through my front door, I'll be ready for it. But you have to understand, everybody around here is familiar with firearms. I would bet you that 2/3 of the county did exactly what I did, which is just to say it's unsettling. It's really terrible for the families afflicted. It will break the trust for a long time. It's a wound that will heal, but it will leave a scar because we're not used to anything like this around here. Nothing like this.
We just got word that the shelter in place has been extended to Lisbon. That, of course, the location where the white Subaru was found. But knowing this area as well as you do, Robert, this is a wooded area. I understand that the general Lewiston area is somewhat of an urban area, but the surrounding environs, I mean, this is Maine woods. How tough is it going to be to catch this guy, especially if he has tactical training from his time in the military?
Yeah, I don't know what his training is other than what I've read in the papers. But, between me and where that event occurred is mostly woods. We're a pretty undense area. And so there's a lot of people like me, I'm sure, that are just doing what I'm doing, which is just being prepared in case. And there are tools, law enforcement. I've worked with law enforcement for a long time myself. There are tools that you can use, and I won't get into them in any depth, but to say that gradually they will put a ring around this place and they will shrink it down until they find him. And I do want to say I cannot say enough good for law enforcement. Law enforcement is out there for you and for me and for all of my neighbors today, going out there and taking a big risk in order to get this guy down and to bring him down and to prevent any further harm from happening in this community. So I love law enforcement. I always have. And I think Americans ought to take, two or three lessons out of this. One is, the Second Amendment has value. And frankly, everybody in this region has a gun. And they're going to be using it if they need to protect themselves and their families. Second, law enforcement is our friend every day of the week. They do their level best, 99% of them, every day of the week, and they go into danger's way for us. And this is a classic example, even as we mourn and grieve for these families. And I hope and pray that the people who are wounded get through it. But we're blessed to have law enforcement officers who care as much as they do around here.
Agreed. Before we let you go, you going to sleep tonight?
No, I haven't been to sleep at all. I have my sidearm right here, and I'll do what I have to do to be ready.
It seems like that is going to be a common refrain from you and your neighbors throughout this area. I just got a text from somebody that I'm very close with up in Maine, and he said the entire area is grieving and evil has come to that community. They don't expect this up there. You don't expect this up there. So it's a tough morning for everybody. Robert, appreciate it. Stay safe, sir.